Do you ever sit back and think to yourself, what is going on in the world? Is this real? Am I experiencing this world correctly? Now, in the last 2 years in particular, I imagine that many people might have had that thought. I know that I suppose I've had that thought, but it hasn't been a serious thought. I've just thought to myself, this is very interesting. But I can imagine that it's been more profound for many other people as they have sat back and watched the impacts of what's happened in the last couple of years. You know, and I'm not talking about the obvious thing. I'm also talking about the economy, the job market, employment, how you interact with your employer, working from home, how you interact with your friends, what social things have changed, and perhaps your view on life, your view on how you socialize, how you interact with people, what your plans might be for the future, your personal development, the life that you're having, your quality of life. I imagine that these things we've all thought about. These things, we do think about them anyway, but I think that perhaps all these items have come into a lot more focus, in the last couple of years, this year in particular, maybe in the last week, in the last days, as you're watching this video, thinking, "Wow, yeah, isn't it crazy?" Or not, is it crazy? But wow, isn't life and the world we live in interesting? Because it does seem that big changes are happening. And and I also forgot, the Ukraine, the Russia war that's taking place. I myself must admit that even though I have in the last few years predicted a significant war somewhere in the world, I really hadn't imagined it was going to be Russia invading Ukraine. But there again, I'm not a defense or a military expert, and so maybe anyone that is, they could have probably predicted that could happen and might happen or even would happen, but I certainly didn't. I thought that we might have more trouble in the Middle East, and that hasn't happened. Well, hasn't happened yet. But it does feel for many people that we are in a real state of change. So this is June 2022, end of May, beginning of June 2022, and it does feel to many people, including me, that we are at a point in history where a lot of change is happening, and we're all feeling it. And I suppose to attach words or descriptive sentences to that change, we could say things like employment, being poor, for some people making lots of money, financial opportunity for some people, but certainly financial misfortune for lots of other people. I keep hearing about people losing their jobs, or their new job, or the job they've just taken isn't what they expected, and they're being paid less. In actual fact, even right now, with inflation increasing and prices increasing, it's like, without your salary, your wages going up at the same time, in effect you are receiving a pay decrease whilst the things you buy go up in price, if your income remains the same, in effect, your income is reducing. That's actually how a lot of economists actually do see the current situation that we are in. Now, in my other videos, I've explained, I've offered an explanation why that is happening, and I believe that to be true. I do believe that the time that we are in now is because of the need of a significant financial reset. For me, someone like me, that's how I understand it, and it makes sense to me based on my understanding of how this world works, how business works, how central banks and money systems work. So someone like me, I can offer myself an understanding, and I can explain that to other people, and it sounds pretty glum. You could say it sounds negative. You could also say that it doesn't sound correct, and as I've said in other videos, I'm more than happy for people to explain to me why I'm wrong, and I am more than happy actually to be wrong. And I think I've said that in other videos, and if you look at the text description in the video below, I offer some disclaimers. I explain that a lot of my content is for debate, and it's very heavily my opinion. It's my opinion-based stuff. But anyway, to get back onto the topic of this sense or feeling of huge change, I suppose it does depend on the individual's circumstances. For example, if you've just got a new job, or in your current job you've had a pay rise or a promotion, life might be feeling much better right now. Or if you've just received a large bonus, and it just happens that the job you're in, the industry that you're in, has not adversely been impacted by what's happened in the last couple of years, I suppose life for you might seem fine, because as it is, things haven't got worse for you, that they've got better. Inverse that, someone that was having a prosperity before the beginning of 2020, and the last couple of years has impacted them greatly. Life might seem pretty miserable for you right now, especially if you've tried to find employment and that hasn't really worked out, or maybe you have found employment and it's worse than what you had before, or you are a business owner, or you're an entrepreneur type, and either that business has folded or you've gone bankrupt, or because of what's happened in the last couple of years, finance that you're expecting or investment hasn't happened. Life can seem pretty tough, especially when it's prolonged. I know people, 2 years was a long time for this downturn in work and employment. It's a long time to stay positive. So life might be pretty hard for you right now. I know there's a lot of people out there, and in life isn't very good for them in terms of income and money, the financial situation and prosperity. I know that it's tough for a lot of people out there. But what I feel that I want to say in this video is, a lot of people are sensing that times are a-changing. We are living in a world today that is it is complex. It's complex. Well, the world and life and society has always been complicated because we're human beings, and it just is. It's nature. It's complicated. But today, with the technology that we have today, with how fast information can travel around the world, it seems that we're all a lot more plugged in, and so everything that's happening in real time is almost being viewed in real time by observers, by us all. So it's much easier to feel and experience all the changes that are going on in the world. All you have to do is switch on your phone, or your laptop or iPad or television or whatever device you have. Flick onto news, and the news channels are so many. But very quickly you can access what's going on around the world, very, very quickly. And some news channels they'll present something one way, another news channel will present it a different way. Some news channels are very heavily censored. Some news channels have a lot of crazy information, a lot of misinformation and disinformation. So there is a genuine argument. What is truth? What can we all rely on? What is true? So that's a genuine, debatable thing. But discounting that, on the whole, information that we're all subject to in the context of news and obtaining information about the world we live in, we can all access it pretty quickly, pretty easily, and it will come across as very confusing for most people, I imagine. If you look at all the things that are happening in the world right now, war, Russia, Ukraine, climate change, massive issue there, population growth, the changing economy, financial reset, inflation, shortages, food and water security around the world, natural disasters, floods, food shortages, labour shortages, and also high unemployment. What is amazing is somebody will literally tell me about unemployment is a lot higher than we realise, and then a minute later a different person can tell me that they can't recruit staff, that they don't have the right staff, or they simply can't get staff. Now, if it's a specialised industry, a specialised industry that requires high skill levels, you can easily understand that, because if you are a technology company and you need a certain skill, and that skill is very expensive anyway, and they tell me that they can't get the skill, I can believe that. But it's not that I'm making reference to. It's restaurant owners, people that own bars, that are saying they can't recruit bar staff, or they can't recruit chefs or table service. I find that absolutely amazing. These jobs require very little skill, because you learn it very quickly. These jobs are suited to younger people that are looking to earn extra money, or that they want to be sociable and have a job that allows them to engage with customers, with people. You would think that it'd be easy to find bar staff and staff to serve tables, in today's economy, in this world we live in. But I'm told that it's hard to recruit restaurant and bar staff right now. So the world does seem a little crazy, a little off balance, and again that feeling of we are in very changing times. What is going on? What are the key drivers for this change? What are the key circumstances that create negatives? What can be done, to make things better? Now, there will be some politician. I can think of a couple. I'm not going to mention them because I need to be careful with censorship right now. But there are many politicians in the US, for example, and the UK. I mention the US and UK because that's where I get a lot of my information from, and That's where the channels I watch, and the news that I get comes from either the US or the UK or Australia. And when these politicians talk, you instantly think, "Oh, I really don't believe this person," and then you think, "But I'll listen, to see if it changes." And 1 minute in, you are certain that they're lying to you. Actually, maybe politicians is not a good example, because I think a lot of people, maybe half, simply don't believe a word that comes out of a politician's mouth. That's really unfortunate, very unhelpful, because it leaves the audience doubting. And if you're trying to promote prosperity, or if you're actually trying to help people, number one, they have to believe you, I think, or like you. And a lot of politicians are disliked, and they are not believed. So it's like we have a perfect storm of an untrustworthy news media, untrustworthy large organizations, or large organizations that people don't trust or believe. We have monopolies, industries that seem to be monopolized by 3 or 4 large organizations that seem to have significant sway on those industries, and the general public don't trust any of them. We have governments that seem to be not trusted. We have representatives of those governments that are not trusted. And we have technology that can deliver all this information in a millisecond, and a lot of it is not trusted. In fact, as I'm talking to video, I'm answering my own question here, actually, or I'm reinforcing the understanding of my own question, and that is the discomfort, or the Twilight Zone feeling that we all have about the world we live in today, seems to be emanating from the fact that there's an awful lot of untrust in the world. Untrust in people, governments, and large organizations that supposedly help us all. We seem to all not trust them. So trust seems to be a massive issue right now. And accuracy of information. Trust, accuracy, and truth. In fact, I've just done a video, I think it was titled Truth and Accuracy. That actually, I did not intend this video to be connected to that video, but as I'm doing this video, I've just thought to myself, gosh, that was the point of my other video. So anyway, maybe I'll put a link in this video to that video. But what I've done in this video is I've answered my own question. That I've literally answered my own question as I've been, or I've explained this video via the process of offering this video. I've arrived at the explanation for the state the world is in right now. And that is lack of trust, lack of truth. But that's not, I don't think these things have created the state of the world that we live in. I actually think that they make it much harder, or they are part of the problem, but they're not the whole problem. I really believe the Twilight Zone that we're facing in this world today can be explained, and there are reasons for it. So I don't actually, think to myself, oh gosh, the world is so interesting and crazy and bad and difficult. I don't actually think that. I actually can offer an explanation for the state of this world today. But to offer that opinion, I'm very worried about censorship and what I can and can't say. Maybe my concerns are not warranted, and in actual fact I could say it all and it wouldn't be a problem. But I'm going to be very careful and just say that there is an explanation for everything to do with the world that we live in that would explain the feeling that some people have about the world that we live in today. Yes, it is complicated. Yes, it isn't straightforward, but you can offer a framework of reference that gives a jolly good explanation for the state of the world that we live in today. Now, part of it is technology, and that's the bit I've been chatting about actually in other videos, namely artificial intelligence, but that's not the main reason actually. So I don't want people thinking, Stephen thinks the state of the world today is all down to AI, because I don't think that at all. But definitely technology has a large impact on the state of the world that we live in today. I suppose what I should do is come back to this subject and offer again a framework in which to make my point, because I'm wanting to more gently get around the subject, because it is a big subject, and if you like, I'm wanting to take the viewer of this video on a journey to understand how you might arrive at an explanation that I've arrived at that makes sense of this world. I'm aware that these claims are large, and I am trying to talk about it and explain it in a way that's easy to understand. And sure enough, I am going to go there at some point. Won't be this video, but in other videos I am going to explain how this world works and why things happen the way that they do. I'm aware that it's a huge statement. I am aware of that, but I am going to do it at some point. I've touched on this sort of subject matter before in other videos, and we're going to come back to it. I am going to offer a framework of reference in which to understand everything about the world we live in. I know that's a biggie, and when I say that, I think to myself, my goodness, Stephen, that's a big subject, that's a big claim to make, and I'm setting an expectation that's going to be hard to live up to, but I am going to try. I'm definitely going to try. Anyway, I meant this video to be a brief talking piece, and so I'm going to leave it there. I actually have to leave it there because I need to go do something now, and I'm aware that time's ticking by, so I've got to go do that anyway. But I thought I would say what I've said. I do hope everyone is okay. Yes, I always like to offer a positive at the end. So the positive is, so these are, I'm going to offer some very general sentences. But the positive is, many times things can always get worse. And taking a negative view or taking a negative disposition is actually very counterproductive, because all it produces is a negative, more of a negative. So as an individual or a company or an industry or a group of people, you can't take the negative, because it's just not an option that works. It won't work for you. You simply have to view the negative, understand that you have a negative view, that there might be a negative, and you've got to view it and think to yourself, right, that's bad, it's happening to me, I feel bad, it's bad. But then you have to stop and you have to think to yourself, how do I now make this better? How can I possibly get better from this position I'm in right now? And believe it or not, there is always a way that you can make it better. And the way you make it better is you simply plant that seed in your brain, in your head, that simply says, I'm going to do something in the next 2 seconds or the next 5 minutes that simply makes my life better or makes me feel better about something. And you simply have to make that decision for that to happen. It's as simple as that. The other positive is that if you have got good health, if your health is good, that is a great positive to start from. Whatever you're facing, whatever's happening to you, if you have good health, life can be enjoyed. You can participate in life, in the world, and it's a great gift. It's a great thing to have. But I'm aware that some people's health might not be good. And if that's the case, you simply focus on everything and anything that can make your health better. It's as simple as that. It might be something as simple as eating more fruit and vegetables, or going for a long walk, or exercise, or simply speaking to another doctor or another consultant, or taking some more surgery, or seeking another healthcare treatment or healthcare philosophy that might be better, that is better. So that's what you can do if it's a health thing. Yes. So the positive is life can get better. You can get better. Business can always get better. You simply must make the decision, plant the seed to want improvement, to make it better. It can be as simple as that. Anyway, that might not work for everyone, and your circumstance or situation might be different to that. So as I said, I'm just generalizing to make a point. I'm just offering a general positive outlook, or things that can be done by everyone. Anyway, I'm rambling. I do apologize. I do hope everyone is okay. I hope you have a good day today, and I will see you all again, and bye for now.